Okay, welcome to Paris. Now, this map is a little bit interesting. Basically, it's just a corridor map. And if you're not in a heavy tank, this map can be incredibly boring and not a lot is going to get done. Light tanks are going to float around here, especially at the start of the game. You're just going to want to rush into here and then try and progress back either to your base or fight it out over this position here. This position here is not great because you can be shot from here, here, basically everywhere. There's multiple positions where you can get an angle on this area here. So I wouldn't suggest staying here for the whole game. If you're in a light tank, maybe do a scouting run, then pull back, and then move around and just try and get different spots around the map. Over here is where you want to be in a light tank, because anywhere else is kind of... You're just basically useless in this half of the map. Why? Well, because there's buildings everywhere which blocks your vision, and anyone that is going to get spotted will be in close proximity to anyone else. So for example, heavy tanks are going to go down here, and they're going to spot the other heavy tanks. So being a light tank down here makes no sense whatsoever. The best thing is to do in a light tank is to spot here, and then you can spot some heavy tanks as they're crossing. But I will, of course, show you that position later on in the video. TDs, you want to be sitting around here and just hope for the best. Hope that you find some people to shoot at. Medium tanks, you can either go over this side of the map or this side of the map. As always, medium tanks, you have free reign over the map, because medium tanks are the most flexible vehicles in the game. Obviously, depending on the type of medium tank. For example, an Object 430U is going to be a lot more suited to the heavy tank kind of playstyle rather than scouting in the middle of an open field. But yeah, that's basically the map in a nutshell. Let's get into now all the positions. Okay, so kicking it off with the light tanks. The first position I'm going to show you will allow you to spot over here as the enemies are crossing. So this will be for the heavy tanks, which is the majority of people are going to go down this way. What you want to do is just sit around here, and then as they're crossing, you'll be able to spot them. Now, be warned, if they go too far, so if they come out here and then go kind of like this, you won't be able to spot them, obviously, because they're out of your detection range. So just through here, you'll be able to spot enemies as they're crossing, as they go down towards this area here. Very useful. The only way that you will get spotted is if someone comes down through this way, and then they do a nice little scouting run and come back. That's the only way that you're really going to get spotted here. Or someone just, bum rushes you right at the start of the game. Which is quite rare, because usually you're going to have a few TDs over here, which can actually get some shots on them as they're pushing up. So this is a really good early on spot for basically any light tank. Okay, so light tank spot number 2. This is going to be the active spotting run. Any light tank can do this. It's not just EBRs. Obviously, EBRs are going to get there a hell of a lot faster, and they have kind of created almost light tanks obsolete because of how fast they go, especially the 105. But you just do anything like this kind of spotting run, and just go into here. You can get the initial spot on the other people over here as well, and then you can pull back down into here. It depends, obviously. If you do get spotted here, usually you will have enough time to get all the way back and follow this route. But however, if you do get spotted here, it might be worth to just back down here and then remain unspotted for this bit and then back off. But yeah, that kind of spotting run, you can do that right at the start of the game, and it's an alternative method to this spot here. Although, really, light tanks, if you're not in an EBR, then I would suggest this spot here, because EBRs could just do this no problem, whereas light tanks, they are going to obviously be a bit slower, and it could cause more issues down the line for you. And the last spot for light tanks is going to be over here in this bush. Now, you could actually retreat to this bush once you've done the spotting run if you really wanted to. But this is one of the base spotting positions for this map. You'll see a lot of people go into this bush, and you just sit here. You're covered by bushes. You've got plenty of cover. You shouldn't be spotted. A lot of people will blind fire over here, so keep that in mind. But the only way that you really get spotted is if someone comes through the middle here. You might get spotted depending on your camo rating. and the way you are sitting in the bush. Basically, you can sit anywhere along here. It's not just in this position exactly. The other side will be exactly the same. You just come down from here and go into that bush there, so you'll be spotting from over there. And also the other side, the spotting run will be exactly the same, which I showed you, but obviously, alternatively, the other side. This map is very symmetrical. Pretty much like it's a complete mirror, nearly. But I will show you how to get into this, and then show you how to spot people crossing over here now. Okay, so over this side of the map, you want to kind of follow the same thing, and this spot is actually really nice because you can spot anyone that's trying to push over from this angle here, so you'll spot anyone crossing here, but also later on you'll spot people crossing here. The only thing that you do need to watch out for is obviously the active spotting that might go on. Usually there is someone that's going to go into the middle. I wouldn't suggest staying in the middle because it's just a death trap. Everyone can shoot you. Look how many angles you have to deal with. It's not worth it to go in the middle and stay there. But this is another great spot that you can see pretty much anyone that's going to be coming that way. Okay, so for the heavy tanks. I'm not going to show medium tanks in this video because this map, medium tanks can go wherever they please. It really, really doesn't matter. There's plenty of spots around even in this position where you can go. But for heavy tanks, you want to come down here and you can just battle it out down here. Just keep poking, trying to expose your strongest armor, and so on. The other spot is you could go behind here and do the same, but then you'd have... there's a tree in the way. But then you would have this mound as a cover, which actually works quite well. Especially for hold down tanks, you can use that to your advantage. Other hold down tanks, you can use this little dip here to your advantage and just keep poking out. The main positions that they're going to be in is around here and here, if you're going to look over this way, which is there, and just behind this little building here. So, yeah, these are the main spots that you want to be looking for if you're looking over this way. You should notice anyone that pushes up to here, because they should get spotted instantly. Because anyone that's sitting up here will have clear vision onto that little area there. Medium tanks can go up here and just keep peeking and doing some damage and pulling back. But yeah, that's basically heavy tanks. And you would just do the exact same on the opposite side. What you can do is push your heavy tanks all the way down to here, and then you can then battle it out along there. But I mean, all that you're going to do in your heavy tanks is just, from this side of the map, is just do exactly the same, but on this side. So you're going to be wanting to sit over here, or back there, in that little corner bit. You could, as I've said, you could push all the way down to here. The heavy tank's position on this map is just, you sit here, and when someone makes a mistake, either they pull out too much, and then you punish them for it. You know, you just sit around here, farming some damage, and then you eventually can push through. But that's basically this position. The only thing that you need to worry about is if you push back too far, you could be exposed to anyone that's around there. So keep that in mind, especially when you're playing in this position. But yeah, that's basically the heavy tanks for you. Okay, so the first spot is right here. Literally, you just come from your spawn, come here, and you're here. Now, this spot is very nice because you can shoot anyone, basically, over this side. Especially the people that are sitting in these bushes here. You can just pull back a little bit. Now, be warned. It might look like you're going to fall off, but you won't. You'll be fine. I mean, longer tanks, this is probably not going to work, but you can pull back, make the bush completely solid, and then shoot through anyone that you can see. I mean, obviously for the E25 it doesn't really matter. You know, you could shoot like this and you shouldn't really get spotted. But you can use this position. The other spot is down in these bushes. You can peek up, shoot, pull back. It's not really the best of solutions, because you're going to get spotted every time that you do that. Ideally, you want some TDs in here, and then you can have your spotting tank, your light tank here, or it's done a scouting run, and it's spotted everyone there. So these are basically the only spots that you can sit in your TD. There's not really much else you can do. If you have a team that's got loads of TDs, you're probably going to have a problem on this map, because there aren't so many spots that you can sit. I mean, sure, you could sit back here, but then you're kind of almost too far away from the action. I would only go and sit back there if there's someone up on the opposite ridgeline, as it's not really worth being anywhere further back than this, just because of the sheer fact that you're not even going to be able to see anyone from there that's over here because of this massive mound. So, TDs in this map, yeah. If you're only playing TDs, I would block this map, because it's not worth it. And if you're only playing light tanks, also block this map because it's not worth it. But yeah, that's basically been Paris. It shouldn't have been too long, but there you go. There's not really too much to talk about for this map because it is mostly just a corridor and you just have to hope that you're in a heavy tank when you get it. Because otherwise, yeah, you're kind of screwed. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, then you know what to do, and I'll see you all in a bit. What has happened? Ooh. Okay then.